Excellent. Well, what about let's talk about like management and stuff there. You mentioned how do you actually, when we talk about like an engineering team and the performance of those teams, I'm interested to hear how you think about the like measuring that performance, because it's something that's perhaps hard to do. Like you could, there's kind of maybe bad metrics like lines of code or something like that where it's not really reflective of the actual work that's being done. Like how does that process work for yourself? Do you have any ways you think about tackling that?
Yeah, it's a really tricky thing in engineering. The ultimate measure is, are teams delivering on their goals? Are they setting good goals? And are they able to break those goals down into milestones? And then are they able to deliver on those milestones in a timely fashion? So we really try to look at the output of teams and individuals. We don't want that output to come at a personal cost, though, for those teams. So we kind of talk about sustainable urgency. We want teams to go fast, but only as fast as they can, while maintaining healthy work-life balance and a sustainable work culture for the long term. You gave that example of measuring various development metrics, and that is a really dangerous road to go down. We talk about Goodhart's law at Canva quite a bit. We are striving to be a data-driven company, but in being a data-driven company, we want to always be mindful of Goodhart's law, which is basically saying that as soon as you start measuring something by a particular metric, that metric tends to lose its value as a good way of measuring anything.
Mm.
It's also really important to remember that if you are totally focused on metrics, then there's a risk of focusing on things that you can easily measure. And there's a whole lot of really important things that are not easy to measure. So we just have to keep that in mind when we're kind of constructing success measures for teams. And ultimately, it's about delivery, and that sustainable delivery. So we look for that track record of delivery at individuals and teams, and we look for the health and well-being of the team to make sure that the team is happy in delivering.
Mm.
Yeah, look, we could talk for
Yeah.
hours on that.
Yeah.
Your example of measuring commits, I've literally seen. I've seen teams that there's a leaderboard of the top committers, and it drives perverse behaviors. People figure out how to create commits or how to break their changes into smaller commits, so they ride up the leaderboard. And we've really got to be careful. It also sends a message when you focused on those code-oriented metrics, whatever they are, that all of the other activities that are essential in running a team aren't as important. We've got, for engineering managers, there's a lot of work that goes into expectation management of the team, running the cadences of the team, discussing and reviewing technical approaches, and all of that's much harder to measure. So if you're focused on these hard kind of code-oriented metrics, you can actually send the message that this other vital work isn't as important, and that's very dangerous.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting take there. I liked the the urgency, consistent urgency. I think something like that. But I think that's a great way of doing it, right?
Yeah, sustainable.
Sustainable.
Urgency
That's right. Gotcha.